Hello. I come to you quite early in the morning, sort of by accident. I didn't intend on being up this late at all, but I kept finding excuse after excuse to extend my night after a long work day. First it was I wanted to talk to and play games with my school friends, but that only lasted until about 1 or 2 a.m. And then it became I want to watch an episode of an anime. In this case, the anime being My Dress Up Darling Season 2. And then I'd watch the anime and I was like, oh, I'm too hungry. Maybe I should eat before I record. So I went and toasted up some bagels and had those, and then said, oh, I should meander around a little bit before I record. And it was in that meandering that I got sidetracked by chance. I play social games quite often. For someone who is pretty socially inept in real life, well, socially inept might be an exaggeration. I can't talk to strangers, really, beyond the simple transactional speech you find in customer service. But I play a lot of social games like VR Chat and Tower Unite. And when I was a kid, I loved playing Club Penguin. I've played a lot of Gmod, or Garry's Mod. Because there was a large social aspect to it. A game with voice chat and no automatic player shuffling, moving, matchmaking type thing. Just people in a server. It allows for social bonds to be formed, and I have a number of friends who I don't regularly talk to, but still have added and acknowledge from that era of my life. But Tower Unite has been the one I've committed the most hours to post-COVID. I've made a number of friends on there, made a handful of enemies. Well, enemies is a strong word, but such is, right? I had to remove a bunch of people back in December because a number of them collectively were taking a toll on my mental health and I needed to get away. They weren't doing anything wrong per se, but just a combination of things which I'm not going to get into led to me removing most of them. I've always had my DMs open to them though, if they ever wanted to come around for a chat. And a number of them did, all in their own time, which was nice. I was gone but not forgotten. Right. Either way, I logged on to this social game earlier this night just to take a look around, see what other people have been building, because the user-created content is the most interesting part of the game. So I was taking a look around, and I joined someone's server to see what they'd been building, and lo and behold, one of the people I had removed was in there. I was surprised. Very surprised. I thought for a minute that maybe, upon seeing me, they might think, oh, I shouldn't be here, and run away. Or maybe they thought I would do that, but neither of us did, and we sort of just hung out, almost like we used to. And we did so for quite a while. There was a lot of chatting. I did not add them back. That part of that chapter of my life is closed now, and if I need to add them back, I'll add them back, but I don't need to. Still, we chatted for 3 hours, and now I'm here. They've gone off somewhere. I don't know where. I can't see where they're going because I don't have them added, and there's a beauty in that, right? It's like running into someone on the street. You don't know how they got there. You don't know where they're going after, and you live separate lives. Your paths just happen to intersect at this one point. I don't know. I don't feel the least bit sad about any of it. In fact, I feel happy. It was a nice time. A rare time. Welcome to the part where I don't say anything for tens of seconds because I can't remember what I did this week. The construction outside my house, like when I say outside my house, I mean it's literally the street my driveway rolls out onto, is almost done. I think they'll be finishing up this week, if we're lucky. I think they were supposed to be done last week, based on the notice they gave us before they even started, but such is construction in great North America. Something I'm really excited about right now that I'm working on is a cover of one of my favorite songs of all time, and that song is Basketball Shoes by Black Country New Road. Black Country New Road's a bit of a difficult band to cover because their mix-up of instruments is very strange, and they're at the time of their second album, Ants From Up There, from which Basketball Shoes, it's on that album, there were 7 of them, 7 band members, and you think, wow, that's a lot. Do they have they like the Strokes or something, who I think have 6, where they have drums, 2 guitars, keys, and a vocalist. Was that 5 or 6? Oh yeah, and bass. Bass, drums, keys, 2 guitars, and a vocalist. That's 6. And you'd think that, right? And you know what? They do, but one of their guitarists is also their vocalist, their lead vocals, or was. But they also have flute, or saxophone, violin, and sometimes flute. Because the members of the band are trained in a number of instruments, and they perform more like a concert band doing rock songs than a rock band. And it's very interesting to watch, apparently. My oldest brother saw them live before they lost one of their key members. I say lost, he said he quit on good terms. Just said, I'm done, I can't go forward with this, sorry. There's a whole bunch of lore about it. That's very interesting and all that. And I highly recommend looking into it if you find yourself liking their music. But Basketball Shoes is a very interesting song because, let me check Spotify really quick. Oh no, wait, I have it tabbed. The song is 12.5 minutes long, almost 13 minutes. There are effectively 3 songs in this song, but it all works as one cohesive piece. I really like the album version of the song. And I say the album version because the live version has different lyrics. I like the album version because of one line, and that is, oh, I guess it's a few lines. It's, I gotta pull it up now. Yeah. We're all working on ourselves, and we're praying that the rest don't mind how much we've changed. So if you see me looking strange with a fresh style, I'm still not feeling that great. I've talked about Black Country New Roads vocalist, who again is no longer a part of the band. Their latest album was done without him. Well, their last 2 albums were done without him. Big yawn. I've talked about his singing because it's not very beautiful. It's strained and groaning and shaky, but his delivery conveys the emotion better than any Adele or whoever could. But you can tell he really, really means it when he says he's still not feeling that great. I've wanted to cover this song for a long time, but I haven't felt like I could until recently. I just picked up the guitar the other day and put on a drum beat roughly to the pace of the thing and started strumming out the intro. And then I sang on top of it and it came together and I went, I could probably actually do this. I don't think I'll ever cover a song that doesn't mean something to me at the time I cover it. One of the first covers I ever did was of All Your Friends by LCD Sound System. One of my favourite songs ever of all time. And at the time I did the cover, it meant a lot to me. I felt its lyrics because a lot of my friends were on their university paths or had selected their careers, and I, at the time, was unemployed. By the time I'd finished the cover, I was employed, but it was a part-time gig, and it wasn't like a steady career. But all my friends were struggling and disappearing, and they were all busy and out of town and all this, and the line that All My Friends ends on is or I guess the second last line it ends on is, "Where are your friends tonight?" It's that focus of like sort of losing yourself to life's tide and leaving your friends behind, and that's something I wasn't super afraid of, but I knew friends of mine were very afraid of. And luckily they're all still around. But yeah, Basketball Shoes. Oh, actually, hold on. the other song I've covered. Let me check my page. Yeah, the other songs I've covered were I Would Hate You If I Could, which certainly had meaning at the time I covered it. And Stuck on a Puzzle, which sort of is a song that's always had meaning to me. It's an interesting song about the generic concept of love, but in an interesting, twisted kind of way. Like it's not like, oh, you're so pretty, I love you. It's like there's something about you that makes people drop, like break up with their girlfriends or something like that. And everybody's so jealous when they're in the other room, right? Everybody wishes they were in the room with you. And the person singing finds it puzzling, right? It's a beautiful song. Alex Turner is an incredible writer, though in recent years he's gotten very eccentric with it. More choosing to write about sort of strange things. He's clearly a huge film nerd, which I think is awesome, but it alienates those who don't appreciate that kind of thing. And I love that because the Arctic Monkeys have gotten to a point in their career where they don't have to appeal to anybody, because no matter what they put out, somebody will like it, and it will reach them because they're the Arctic fucking Monkeys. And if they make something new, everybody's going to be talking about it. After AM, which broke the world when it came out, Catfish in the Bottomans' whole sound is basically just ripping off that album. AM yeah, AM was revolutionary, and they could have kept making music that sounded like that, but they didn't, because they're the Arctic fucking Monkeys. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, basketball shoes. I feel it's a good time to cover it because I feel I'm getting to the point where I can, and at this time in my life, I feel like that song means the most to me. Everybody I know is changing in small ways, or has been changing over the last however many years. I myself can see myself changing in the mirror. I've been changing the way I dress. Like just over this last year, I've changed my wardrobe completely. I've been buying more clothes in various styles, dressing nicer, styling my hair differently. Yeah, changes. Not just physical changes either, but emotional changes and such. And yeah, the fear of people leaving or no longer talking to me or being my friend or whatever because I've changed is there, as unrealistic as it is for those who've stuck with me for so long. It will never not be there, I think. Another good album about change and people changing and the changes in the leaves is Water the Flowers and Pray for a Garden by Valley, which only came out last year and has some great radio hit type songs on them, which I did attempt to cover one of them because I felt it encapsulated what I was feeling at the time, though that cover was never finished, and because of that, it's not on the SoundCloud. I didn't even get to doing the drums properly. But the whole theme of the album is change, because the band Valley produced what I'd say is exclusively shallow and boring radio pop music. Like, I can't listen to anything before their latest album because it just feels so weightless, and not in a floaty, fun kind of way, but in a you're hollow. There's nothing there. I'm looking at a mannequin. Even their hit songs from before are just not. They're nothing to me. But their latest album is very introspective, self-reflective, and commentative on the idea of themselves. And it's produced by, I think I've mentioned this before, it's produced by one of the people from Coin, who have very well produced music. And because of that, the album just sounds great. Been thinking about catching their live show that's coming up in my town, but I have so little interest in the opening band that I'm not sure I want to. And that seems like a bad reason, but I feel like it might attract the wrong crowd. So I'm apprehensive about it. I asked for help with covering basketball shoes. I have a friend, and she's a trained pianist. She went to university for piano. And I called her up on my lunch break today, accidentally waking her up from a nap, asking her if she could decipher the piano bits from the song and send me like some digital sheet music that I can work off of. And she agreed, which is great. So getting help there. I'd love to get help for other bits, like find someone to do the saxophone, but I think rather than have somebody do the saxophone and violin, I'll just have to wing it with something that captures the feeling of the saxophone and the violin that I can do. How I'm going to do that, not sure right now. That's for me to find out, like, over the coming days. I do have a friend who has a saxophone, but he hasn't played it since high school. I have a friend who has a trumpet, but he probably hasn't played it since high school. Actually, wait, no, I heard him playing it in his backyard once. He probably hasn't played it in a while. And there was someone I knew a long time ago who played violin, but I don't think I know anybody who does now. So we're just going to have to wing that one as well. It'll be fun, and it'll sound different from the original. Different enough to... Well, I don't know how different. Something I've thought about is changing lyrics. At what point does changing lyrics for a cover make it not a cover? Right? Like the song Anxiety by Doechii, or whatever the hell her name is a bastardization of a good song by replacing the lyrics that are good and hold weight and meaning and have emotion with some bullshit. Pardon my language. The song is effectively a bad cover. So if I did Basketball Shoes and replaced the lyrics of 2/3 of the song, is it still the same song? Maybe it's like a Ship of Theseus thing. Until you replace every part, it's still the same song. Or maybe it's an Eye of the Beholder thing. Like, if I say it's a cover, then it's a cover, and if I don't, but other people think it is, then like that, well, I don't know, like, to each their own. And there is the aspect of changing the lyrics. Is that disrespectful to the original writer of the song? Like, if I take, say, any song off of Nurture, like, a good one would be Blossom, which is very much about Porter's girlfriend and now wife. Like he wrote it about and for his wife. If I took that song and changed the words to make it about someone I know, is that disrespectful to the original intent of the song? Does that make it no longer a cover? I don't know. So I am quite apprehensive about changing the lyrics. Like, if I had to change a part of Basketball Shoes because I'm like, I feel like this doesn't relate to me as much as the rest of the song, it would have to be the last section where he talks about having wet dreams about Charlie XCX. If you had heard the song and didn't know that's what it was about, I'm sorry, but that's what it's about. I have no idea what I'd replace it with, because there's like lazy one-word swaps, right? Like swap the name Charlie for somebody else. And then there's like swapping out the whole section with an entirely different rhyme. And that becomes like parody, like TNT by Captain Sparkles. But like that part of the song goes so hard. The all I've been forms the drone, we sing the rest. Oh, your generous loan to me, your crippling interest. That part of the song goes so hard that I, like, the thought of replacing that would moot the entire section. There's no way I could write anything. That the train is passing through town. There's no way I could write anything that measures up to that. So to replace the bit before it, is that really wise? Is that disrespectful? I don't know. I suppose I will cross that bridge when I get to it. Yeah. Anyway, the title has already told you, but there's no guitar bit this time. And I think, was there one last time? Because if there wasn't, I'm going to feel bad. Okay, there was a guitar bit. Good. I might do the next one on Thursday. Oh. One last thing before I go. Let me check the progress on the render on the other side of the room. We are almost exactly halfway there. It was crashing again the other day because I had to stop it for a bit to... actually, I think that was on Friday. Yeah, on Saturday it was crashing, but it's been running since Sunday, I think. And now we're at 5.5 or 55k. Which is halfway to the 11k, roughly, or 110k. I don't remember. It's about halfway. That's the point. Yeah. I'm hoping it turns out well. Luckily, if there's any like errors for like 2 minutes, I can re-render a section at a time and fix things. But to re-render the whole thing would take so much time, so I'm really hoping I didn't muck anything up. Another thing worth noting, the video where I put Minecraft in the title inexplicably has 369 views, which is more than any other video on this channel. I don't much care for the views, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna like study the video to see, oh, clearly, like these things about the title and the thumbnail and this and this and this made the video perform better, but because that's not the point. I just find it strange that that one has so many. Like, why did YouTube decide, Yes, this is the one that I will send to people. This is the one I will send out into the world to be your missionary. It's very strange. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed now, as I meant to several hours ago. I hope that you have a good night, or morning, or afternoon, day, just any time round the clock. I hope it's going good for you. If you're at your job, try to make the most of it. Job's usually more enjoyable when you don't hate your co-workers. Yeah, I got no other words. Yeah, anyway, sleep tight. Good dreams. Good night. Bye-bye.